Hey, it's Jaime with Echo Real Estate Advisors. Today we're doing direct mail with the twist. So, over the past months, we've been shooting quite a bit of videos about Remine, which is a software that we have access to. Well, depending on which MLS, you have access to Remine, where it's a predictive analytics tool that tells you how likely a homeowner is going to sell in the next 12 months, how likely a homeowner is going to sell 12 to 24 months, gives you some sales indicator, and has a huge amount of information in one single portal. So there's a lot of other videos in this channel that you can go and check out after you watch this one that goes a little bit more into detail about the capabilities of Remine. So we're not going to spend too much time on that platform in this video. What's important for us when it comes to direct mail is having access to Remine. So we're going to use Remine for our direct mail strategy, and we are also, this is where the twist comes in, we're going to be introducing online advertising and have them work together so we can be as omnipresent as possible to the farm that we are focused on. So if you're trying to break into a new neighborhood, or if you move to a new neighborhood, if you're trying to increase your market share but want to do it on the cheap and don't want to spend money on a billboard, which I still don't suggest, or any of the more traditional any more of the traditional marketing strategies, then this is what we're gonna do. So let's just jump in. All right, direct mailing with the twist. As I mentioned earlier, we're doing direct mailing and we're doing online advertising. We are combining the two. And the reason for this video is not only is it a pretty solid strategy, but with Remine, I see a lot of real estate agents leveraging Remine solely for direct mail. And not many folks are jumping over to the online advertising. Now, there is a way to do online advertising where you upload the property information into Facebook, create a custom audience, and then create a lookalike audience, and you're off and running from that standpoint. But I wanted to create a video that bridged that gap, so you didn't solely relied on direct mail, and you didn't do more of the complex strategies of doing a custom audience and then advertising. So I wanted to marry the two, and that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do right now. All right, what's important to identify first is selecting the market and essentially selecting your farming area. Where do you want to dominate? Where are you going to be sending the direct mail piece? And I know this sounds very basic and very, very simple, but sometimes we just get impatient and we don't necessarily step back and identify, okay, where do I want to have my marketing efforts be focused? Where do I want to have my market presence? And we tend to, we tend to not do that. But even if we do, sometimes we just get impatient. We send that direct mail piece once and we get 0 hits. Oh, well, it's clearly the farm. They don't like me there. No one's going to ever use me. So I'm going to jump over here. Well, direct mail just by nature has a low return rate. So where you make money when it comes to direct mail is in that habitual and consistent mailing out. So it's not a one and done and then go and try somewhere else. That's more of a shotgun approach, and that's not what we're after. So we certainly want to select our market. We want to select our farming area and be consistent with it. Now, what's going to be important for our strategy today is selecting a delivery date. So what I would suggest is selecting a date 7 days out or 10 days out that you want your direct mail to hit. Depending on how you're going to be compiling all of your data or compiling your direct mail, if you're going to do a handwritten thank you card or a handwritten letter, or if you're going to go to Vistaprint and have them you design and then have them print the the mail piece, whatever that may be, and then send it off themselves. Depending on that delay is when you're going to select your delivery date. So at least give yourself at least 7 days for that direct mail piece to go out. So you're going to select a delivery date or the date of delivery of your direct mail pieces. Does that kind of make sense? So we're going to select our farm and we're going to select when we want our direct mail to actually hit, because that's going to be important. That's going to be our anchor where we're going to be introducing the online marketing strategy component to it. All right, and then choosing your message. In reality, I should have probably put that above the selecting the market and the date of delivery, but selecting what you want to send your market, selecting what type of message you want to send to your farming area, and with a direct mail piece, and also with the online world, with the online marketing. Whether that be if you're wanting to update the neighborhood about the market update, essentially how many homes were sold in that area, what's the highest, what's the lowest, what's the average, how many days on market, all that type of information. Is that the type of message that you want to present? Do you want to present a message where, hey, I just got into this neighborhood and I'm, feel free to reach out to me? That type of message. It's very general, not too specific, so I wouldn't necessarily encourage that, but people do that as well. Or if you're wanting to send direct mail pieces and focus your online marketing around how much property values are going up, or when would be a right time to sell. If you're doing more of a educational component, there's very different strategies. For our example today, we're going to focus around the delivering of what the market is doing specifically in that neighborhood. All right, so the first step is going to be running an awareness campaign. And we'll jump over to Facebook. We're not going to do we're not create an actual ad, because I do want to keep this video within a reasonable time. If we ran an ad, we would take a little bit over an hour. So I'd much rather say that for our webinars or for when we're running ads live. That way you know exactly what you're doing there. We're going to jump over to Facebook for a bit to show you how we're going to dial in our audience, but we're not going to actually be running the ad. And 7 days prior to the delivery date, so for our example, let's say we want our direct mail pieces to hit December 1st. 7 days prior to that day, we want to run an awareness campaign. And we'll jump over to Facebook so you see what exactly that means. But the reason we're doing that is we want to warm up our audience that is about to receive our direct mail pieces. And we want to have not only the people that will be receiving our direct mail, but also the entire area, our entire farm that we want to dominate. So that's how we're going to introduce online advertising. And well, that's one component. The other component will be the fifth point. So let's keep going. Dependent if you're going to automate your direct mail pieces or if you're going to write them manually, that's going to dictate when you start preparing your direct mail pieces. Again, remember, we have our December 1st is when we want our direct mail pieces to start hitting. So if it takes Vistaprint several business days to prep everything, which it does, then you're going to want to start a little bit earlier. But if you're working on those 7 days to get all of your letters out, all of your cards out, then you can pretty much dictate when you can drop those into the mailbox and know when they're going to arrive. So depending on how far away you are from your market, you could be as early as 1 day prior to December 1st. So November, there's 30 days in November, right? So November 30th is when you drop it in the mail, or a day prior, the 29th, depending on weekends and things of that nature. So I didn't look at a calendar before this. That was just a made-up date. But that's when you're going to send your direct mail piece with the expectation that they're going to start hitting homes the 1st of December. Are you with me so far? So that was a yes, I think. The day of December 1st, we're going to run a traffic campaign. And the reason we're going to introduce a traffic campaign is our previous campaign, which again we created 7 days prior, and we're going to have that run for 7 days. The reason we did that was to warm up the audience and have them be accustomed to us. And this is where you're going to put your face. This is going to put information about the market and introduce your brokerage name, introduce you as a real estate professional, and introduce you to the area that you're trying to break into and or increase your market share in. So while that's happening those 7 days, they're getting this message off and on. I would suggest no less than 3 impressions. So on your report, when you're running a Facebook ad, you're going to see how many times, on average, people are seeing your message. You want no less than three impressions in front of the farm that you're having. And since we're going to be so dialed in, so micro-targeted, it's not expensive. So you'll see that here in a few seconds. The day of December 1st, you're going to turn on your traffic campaign. And your traffic campaign is designed to evoke action. Your awareness was more of, hey, increasing your brand, increasing your awareness. That's essentially what it is. Under the awareness campaign, you're going to have a brand campaign and you're going to have a reach campaign. But let me not jump ahead. The day of December 1st, you're running a traffic campaign to evoke action. This is when you get a little bit more this is where you get a little bit more direct with your message and evoking some action. You're inviting them to reach out to you. You're inviting them to have a conversation with you. A conversation is a new lead, and that's what you really want to leverage. If it means running a cheat sheet or running some sort of lead magnet, that's what you do. Actually, that's actually what I suggest. Running a cheat sheet for the home sellers on how to stage your home, or 5 tips to avoid, or 5 things to avoid when remodeling, 5 things to avoid when selling a home, the home seller's quick sell guide, something of value that homeowners are going to want to click to, input their name, phone number, and email in exchange for that lead mandate, in exchange for that valuable content. So that's something that you're running day of. And when you're going over here to the optional parts, notice that the direct mail, unless you're handwriting, it's really not that work intensive. You can do an automated route. There's plenty of other services out there that will print your letter or print your direct mail piece, and they send it off for you. So notice that there's not too much work with that unless you're actually handwriting them. And when you're running this awareness campaign and traffic campaign, it takes a couple of minutes to get that going, but once you get it going, it's off and running. You're not there behind the computer waiting for something to happen. So there's not as much work involved. So if you want to go to a deeper level, it's essentially more of a commitment, we're going to the optional. That's why I put it optional. Within Remine, you have certain profiles have the homeowner's email and their phone number. You're always going to know the address, so you can always door knock, independent if you feel comfortable door knocking or if you want to do the door knocking component. What I suggest is reaching out via email or phone number, or essentially text or calling, but introducing yourself in a way to where not only will they be getting your direct mail, they're getting emails, they're getting phone numbers, and again, if you want to do door knocking, that's something you can certainly do as well. So day of is when I suggest start really driving home your message, really being as everywhere as possible that you can be to these individuals, because people, you're going to hear people say, "Hey, I saw you on that billboard." Well, you never purchased a billboard. You're gonna have just that presence where they're seeing you everywhere on Facebook. They're seeing you they're seeing your direct mail piece. And if you're going down the email, phone, and door knocking option, you could do one or all three. I would suggest at least doing one, maybe not all three, but you have options. If you're more of the person that just works the phones, do that phone option. Remine gives you that opportunity. If you're more of an email and are very, very well crafted when it comes to email, then there you go. But if you're more of the person that wants to be in front of people and have no problem walking up, knocking on that door and having a conversation, then there's that option of. And this part of the campaign starts the day of, again, December 1st. And the last component to this direct mail with the twist is, if you're versed on Google advertising, this is when you introduce that part as well. So what did we just do? We ran an awareness campaign 7 days prior, right? So they start seeing your message, and yes, there's going to be a semi call to action, but not really. We're paying per impressions. We just want to get our message in front of you as much as possible, and that starts 7 days prior. We're setting up our direct mail, and we want that to hit the day of. So December 1st is when people are starting to receive our direct mail pieces. The day of, this ad is going to continue running. The awareness campaign is going to continue running. I suggest running it at minimum 14 days. So you have 2 weeks of it. The direct mail is going to hit December 1st. Not everybody's going to get direct mail. We'll jump over to Remine so you see that. But I think right now it's important for you to understand what we're doing when it comes to awareness. And the functionality of how to do it is very simple. So the direct mail hits December 1st. December 1st, they start seeing another ad. And it's not completely different, but it has a different tone to it. And it has different visuals, but within your same brand. I mean, don't go over and create another ad account and start running it through there. Don't run it through a different page, because you just destroyed everything that you just built. So run it under your own banner, run it under whatever page you've been running the previous ad on, and be calling out a call to action. Be a bit more direct. This is when we introduce landing pages. This is when we introduce lead type of campaigns, traffic campaigns, messenger campaigns. This is when you're going into wanting an actual action from these individuals. And if you're sending them emails or a phone number, or calling them or texting them or door knocking, then you have that additional layer. And again, the reason I put optional is because the first three, the awareness, the direct mail, and then the traffic, those are going to be your foundational pieces, and you can get away with it. Which, what I mean by that is, it's going to be successful with those three components already. If you want to layer on top of that, and depending on how much effort you want to put into this particular campaign, you can do the optional of emailing or phone calling / texting or door knocking, so you can be that much more of a presence. And another optional component is Google Ads. I know a lot of people have been migrating away from Google Ads in the past, but really Google Ads is coming back. And what you just did was, social media is an interrupter, meaning people don't go to Facebook to try to find a real estate agent. They just don't. They go and check up on a real estate agent, but they're not going to go, well, I'm going to go to Facebook and I'm going to find me a real estate agent, a roofer, a dentist, an attorney. And no, that's the advertising that's happening there is more of an interruption type of campaign. They're not going there to get us. They're They're going there to make connections or post that video, like this other, the next cat video, the next dog video, the whatever. So they're going there to be social, if you will. They're not there to get people like us. They are going to check up on us, but they're not there for us. Google Ads, that's completely different. Google Ads, if you feel comfortable running Google Ads, and there's going to be other videos in this channel that cover how to actually run Google Ads for real estate agents. With Google Ads, they're going to Google and they're going to Bing and they're going to Yahoo to find people like us. Best real estate agent in town. Real estate agent near me. Realtor. Where can I find a realtor? Highest rated realtor. Best realtor in Dallas. They're going with the intention of getting people like us. So it's not an interruptive marketing at that point. These Google Ads is we're placing ourselves as findable as possible, because typically the people that are at the top, that first click you're always going to get, that second click you're always going to get, that third click not so much. So it's very valuable for you to be first or second and third. Beyond that, you're just losing such a reach. So you're on social media, you are direct mailing, and you are on the search engines. That is as complete as possible. Again, we're not going to pay $10,000 for a billboard and do that for 3 months. We're just not. Chances are people may not even go to work that way. They may be going to work the other way. So that's the component of it. Let's jump over to Remine real quick and show you what we're going to do on Remine. And also, we're going to jump over to Facebook to show you how we're going to drill down and target our audience. All right, where are we? Okay. For the sake of this example, where is this? Oh, okay, this is Arlington. Okay. All right, so we want to target, what do we want to target? We want to be around the lake. We want to be around Joe Pool Lake. And for the sake of this example, we want to dominate this entire area. We want to dominate essentially the lake houses. You see here, there's a good amount of homes. I don't necessarily know I'm not too familiar with this area, so I don't know what their value is. Let's check it. Okay, so in the 250s, that's where primarily they're hovering, so we'll do 250. Right now, what we're doing, depending on your farm, depending on your neighborhood, right now what I'm doing is building an audience for us to send direct mail pieces to. So I want the homes to be at least $250,000 in value, which you know your neighborhood, you know your area, so most likely the homes are going to be within a comparable range, or a range that is not too far off, so it may not be as pertinent to you. What is pertinent to you is the amount of time that people have lived in their home. By rule, it changes. By rule, at this time, I want them to have lived in their home at least 5 years. At least 5 years. So people are moving and a lot more transient than before. So 5 years is a good number to start with. So I don't want my direct mail pieces to hit the people that just put their suitcase down and have finished unpacking everything. I don't want to target those people. So I want them to have lived in their home for a good amount of time where they've built a little bit of equity, and this is the best way of doing it. There is another filter where you see the equity they have in their home, but I don't use that. You can double layer that as well, but I'm more focused on the amount of time they've lived in their home. Because if they want to change, especially in this strong economy, because the past 5 years it's been going up, 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 chances are they have equity. So I'm more focused on folks that, regardless if they have equity or not in their home, chances are they will, given the strong economy. Regardless if they have equity in their home, if they want to make the move, they're going to make the move. Okay. Now, I want only people that are owner occupants. That way I pull that information. And we can overthink this. We can overthink this considerably. You don't want to continue adding. I'm adding the single family while I talk to you. We can overthink this and add all of the filters and everything else to where we make our funnel just. We shut off our funnel and people can't get through it. So you want to have enough filters to where you're not shotgunning your entire direct mail, but you want to be open enough to where you do capture those people that, if you continue adding filter after filter after filter, you're weeding those people out and you're doing yourself a disservice at that point. Okay. Let's see what type of self scores we have. There's a lot of low self scores. Now this is, again, another subjective component to it. If I see that there are not a lot of high and medium homes, which this does, in my mind, as you see here, if I apply this filter, a lot of them go away, but I still see a considerable amount of properties. However, if I see that there's not a lot of medium or high sales scores, then I just include all of them. Because I don't want it to be so close that people can't, in my funnel, in my imaginary funnel, people can't get through it, meaning I'm essentially marketing to nobody. So let's go back to sales score real quick. This is, again, this is a direct mail piece. So know that, as a general rule of thumb, every direct mail piece that you send is going to be around $1, depending on how extravagant you make your direct mail piece. But count on at least $1 to it to go out. So in my mind, I'm formulating, okay, well, how much is this direct mail piece going to cost me? Which isn't much. I like this cluster here. This is a good little cluster. Same as here. You have a little neighborhood right here, neighborhood right here. Okay. So we just built our direct mail pieces. Again, depending on how big you want your mail to be, the reason this is a newer neighborhood, so that's the reason you're not seeing any people that have lived there over 5 years, because it wasn't there 5 years ago. Okay, so you just built your list. At this point, if you're going to do the automated way of sending it to the Vista prints of the world, then you're going to go over and you're going to go over to track. You're going to select all. You're going to download the property CSV, and it'll spit out the CSV in a couple of seconds. Or if you wanted to send them out yourself, but put the mailing labels on Avery labels and just print them out and then do it yourself, then that's where you go here, and everything, all of the homes that you just tracked will be downloaded and printed out for you. So you have all your direct mail, your printing labels ready to go. I don't recall having 538 results. They could have, I might not have cleared my tracking before, but essentially for our purposes, this is what I wanted you to see. This is what I wanted you to get to, where the methodology of what we're doing at this point is, if we're trying to break into this neighborhood that's around Joe Pool Lake, you want a good amount of people to actually receive your message. But also, you don't want everybody to receive your message that's not highly likely to act. With the filters that we put in place today, people are going to be more likely to act. They just are. So there's that component of it. Now we're going to jump over to Facebook and show you a drill down approach to where you're going to use this audience to do your awareness campaign and then use your consideration campaign. For this purpose, we're going to go with reach. Now, the reason I'm going with reach is I just want anybody and everybody to see it. You're going to be charged per impressions. You're not going to be charged per action. If they take action and call me on that as soon as they see that ad, fantastic. That's gravy on top. This campaign is not designed to evoke action or this campaign is not for consideration. This is more to get my brand out there, my name out there. Sure, I'm going to put my email, I'm going to put my phone number, I'm going to put my image, and I'm going to put the information, for the sake of this example, is the market information of what's happening in that community. So we're going to do reach. And then when you come back, well, chances are in this video we won't come back to this. So you can, on that second campaign, which, going back to our little presentation, we're running our awareness campaign 7 days prior. We've already selected who is going to receive our direct mail. Now we're running that well, not right now, but running the traffic campaign. That's when you do the day of, and you're going to be running it to that traffic campaign, that consideration campaign. You can run a traffic campaign or actual engagement campaign, lead generation, or message campaign. But right now, the reach campaign is what we're going to go into solely for the ad set. And this will be the last part of the video. So the ad set is what's important to us right now, so you can see how to target a specific neighborhood without too much money. I'm going to go to Arlington, drill down, drill down, drill down. There's Joe Pool Lake. We're in this neighborhood right here. We're going to drop a pin. We're going to get rid of Arlington. We're going to drill down. Okay. So for our purposes, it's actually a pretty good pin. So we selected a large enough area. I think we went down to here. So if your farm is a little bit smaller, which it may or may not be, and that'll depend on how many direct mail pieces you're sending out, how aggressive you want to be with that, and how much money you want to spend. So let's do another pin because I want to show you the dialed in version. Okay. As an example, let's say, because this actually came out perfect, I may start advertising to these folk just because This isn't necessarily my farm. My farm's a little bit further north, but I like this pin. These natural pin placements. As an example, let's say you wanted to only market to these people. This was your neighborhood. This is where you wanted to be. You don't want to work south of, although it's a mile radius, but again, you want to be as present as possible, everywhere as possible. And the moment that you start expanding, then that's money that it's not as effective to what you're hoping to accomplish. You may get leads if you expand a bit, but again, that was not your goal. So if you wanted to drill down to only these people, the people within this little oval or circle, and you didn't want anybody here, I'll just go ahead and delete this real quick. How you get rid of these people, if you for whatever reason don't want to market them, or if you know that some other agent is there and nobody else is gonna, and everybody loves them or loves her or whatever. Again, I'm searching for examples of why you wouldn't want to, but if you didn't want to, you're gonna drop another pin. You're gonna drill down to 1 mile, and that was actually pretty close. You're going to left click, you're going to exclude this audience. So what you told your marketing, what you told Facebook when it comes to marketing is you only want this audience, the people that live in here, to receive that. You're excluding this area. You can get down within a mile radius, but with this strategy, you can get down into very, 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 very drill down beyond a mile, as you can see. So you can pretty much do it by block. And then you go around. In this particular example, the reason I was so excited is because since this is a peninsula, I don't have to go out and exclude people out here because nobody lives out there. It's just the lake. So you would go around dropping pins and excluding the area that you don't want to be part of your marketing effort. That's how drill down you can go into. Now, I jumped over a little bit over here, but for the sake of this example, I'm going to let it go. You're going to click exclude, and then you just do that. Depending on how drilled down you want to go, if there's a specific neighborhood that you want to be in that has only 100 homes or 200 homes, you can get that drilled down without spending money and spinning your wheels everywhere else. So that is a direct mail with the twist campaign. Again, you're introducing direct mail, which a lot of the information that you're going to get is through Remine. A lot of people are using it, and people are having great success with it. The online advertising, you can go down the complex route of actually downloading all the property information that you can, putting it over to a custom audience, running ads to that particular custom audience. That works as well. If you should jump over to the Remine community group. If you have Remine, the strategy is laid out right there. And there's actually several videos on this channel about that, just showing you exactly how to do that. Then creating a lookalike audience and running ads to those. So those are completely different strategies, but what we're doing right now is we're combining the two. That way, you have as maximum reach as possible. You don't need to go to the complex route. You don't have to stay on the direct mail only. You can combine the two and have great success just doing those things alone. Again, if you want to introduce emailing, phone calls, or texting, or door knocking, and Google Ads, you're that much better for it. You're going to break into the market in your particular market that much quicker. But understand that you don't have to. Just doing these three alone, you can see great success with. So that is it. Ran a little bit longer than I was hoping to, but like, comment, share, subscribe, anything and everything, and we will see you on the next video.